on November 30th, a Tuesday. And it's news that you can use from YAA with your dear friends Zach and Ray. How you doing today, Hanson?
Morning, Pops. I'm doing pretty good. We got a few good topics on the docket today. BMW unveiling their newest M car or SUV, M series vehicle. We're going to touch on that. There's the 15 used cars. This comes from IC Cars. We'll touch on this in a little bit. The 15 used cars that now cost more than they do new. The 15 that have had the biggest appreciation since they became a used car driving off the lot. We have the used car market update. We've got some somewhat good news, Pops, that I'll share with you. And then we've got some data that comes from our friends over at Kelley Blue Book. We don't actually have friends at Kelley Blue Book. 16% of car shoppers say they're delaying their car purchase because of what's going on in the market. That is down from 48% in August earlier this year, which is mind-boggling to think. Those are the four things I wanted to run through with you today, Pops. How's that sound?
Sounds good. And if I may, if we knew any people at Kelley Blue Book, they would be our friends.
Possibly. Jordan's in the house with us. He watched our LA Auto Show video. Thank you, Justice, who's here. Thank you, Mario Space, for being here. They did an awesome job covering the LA Auto Show. Check
May
out.
I say, I was in the middle of an email to the three amigos, you, Justice, and Mario, in regards to the quality of. I do look brighter today because I figured out how to open the aperture on the video camera today. Yes. Now you get to see me in all my paleness. But what I was about to say is the three amigos, you, Justice, and Mario, just did a phenomenal job reviewing what was going on at the LA Auto Show. And I know LA is a world unto itself, but the depth and breadth of the information that Justice and Mario were able to provide was phenomenal. And I was reminded of the 2018 film with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, A Star is Born. Well, in this particular case, two stars were born, Justice and Mario, and I look forward to seeing them in other videos in the future. And you could do away with me, perhaps. I don't know.
Fantastic, Pops. Fantastic. Let's kick things off. Also, I will just show that if you search on YouTube, LA Auto Show YAA, this video pops right up, and Justice, and there they are. There's Justice and Mario. So go ahead and search for that.
I'm thinking of getting a coat like Justice's.
Yeah, he looks good in that video.
Yes.
Let's kick things off, Ed, with the used car market update. We've got the latest data from Black Book, the last November 2021 update. Now we'll be starting our December 2021 updates next week. Here's the good news, Pops. Used car prices increased the least that they've increased in about 6 or 7 weeks. Okay, so used car prices were up 0.13%. Used truck and SUVs and vans were up about 0.2%. The overall market up around 0.18%. A precipitous decline. I mean, I'll zoom in on that. So last week, prices were up for cars. They were up, what was it, 0.7%?
Yes,
market overall 0.64%. And so used car prices week over week were up, but they came down considerably in terms of how much they were up week over week.
Yes, the it's a good news, bad news scenario. The good news is the rate of increase has dropped. The bad news is they're still increasing. Okay, and this is the time of the year when the wholesale prices traditionally are decreasing. So, yes, it's good news that the amount of increase has declined, but the bad news is that they did increase again. And my suspicion is that they will continue, even if it's a slight increase, they will continue to increase next week as well, because the quality used car shortage is not going away anytime soon.
We've got from MPEG in the chat, my Carvana offer went up about $300 last week, but my Vroom offer went down about $3,000. So we're seeing some different modeling from some of the big players in the space in terms of what they think are going to happen with used car prices. We should mention, we have been tracking how Carvana and Vroom treat used car prices for months now. Beginning and ends of months are crazy with them. Your prices will fluctuate like a considerable amount at the beginning and the end of each month. We've experienced that ourselves. Pops, on the wholesale market, when broken down by cars and trucks, let's start with cars here. That rate of increase, again, was down considerably. That being said, compact cars are still leading the charge in terms of greatest price increase week over week. And what do you know? Sporty cars, for the first time in a few weeks,
Yeah.
actually depreciated week over week on the wholesale market. Now, what I found fascinating, Dad, was the trucks, SUVs, and vans. Look at this chart. Okay, so there's a couple things, Dad. I never bought any cryptocurrency. Like I never bought Bitcoin. I never bought Dogecoin. I never bought Shibu Inu or whatever coin.
You never bought Dad coin?
Never bought Dadcoin. I totally missed the boat on crypto.
Yeah.
We've joked for months now about buying a damn van, and we missed the freaking boat on vans, man. Like you and I, we run this YouTube channel. We run multiple YouTube channels. We operate a business. We suck, dude. We should have bought Shibu Inu coins. We should have bought all the Daj coins. We should have bought a van, man. Vans were up nearly 1.5 points week over week when everything else was up like 1/10 of a point. What?
We didn't miss the boat. We missed the rocket.
Elon, where
yeah,
you at?
yeah. SpaceX, here we come. Who knew? I mean, I guess there are people out there that did know, but obviously, I wasn't close enough to the market to realize the shortage and the value of vans at the moment. But yeah, there just seems to be absolutely no end in sight as to the wholesale value of these vans. Now, I don't know if it's because the new car manufacturers just aren't producing any vans on the new side, that they just don't find those as valuable to produce as the higher profit margin SUVs and pickup trucks with the limited amount of chip supply that they have. So it's truly impacted the market. And yeah, it's crazy, just absolutely crazy, the amount of week over week increase we consistently see in the wholesale van market.
Full size vans, wholesale side, up 42 out of the past 43 weeks.
That's the I think that's a trend.
That's knocking butts is what that is.
Yes,
Couple other things to pull out from the Black Book report. I'm just going to pull it up on the screen here. Activity on the lanes slowed down last week with the Thanksgiving holiday, reducing the availability of inventory and number of buyers actively bidding. Some consigners are known to save their inventory for after the holiday, so we anticipate an increase in volume on the lanes this week. And then I'm going to scroll down, Pops, to, here we go. Here's the sales rate at the auction. December is typically a busy month in the lanes, with sellers trying to offload unnecessary vehicles and buyers trying to stock up on inventory in time for the holidays. While some new inventory is trickling in from manufacturers, used inventory will still play a pivotal role as we close out calendar year 2021. Inventory scarcity has continued to cause bidding wars across the country among franchise dealers, independent dealers, and rental car companies. Wholesale values and floors were up on the upswing before Thanksgiving and may pick back up again soon now that the holiday has passed. So I just wanted to acknowledge there that Black Book seeing some seasonality, you could say, in terms of the amount of inventory that's actually making it across the block last week because of the holiday. We'll see that again in 3 or 4 weeks with the Christmas holiday too. But then things will kind of quote unquote normalize again. You'll have that inventory back there. You're still not going to have enough new cars in the market. You're sure as hell not going to have enough new vans, and that'll likely keep prices up.
Yes, and this is a time of year where a lot of dealers, it's what's known as LIFO, last in, first out, where they take their inventory and they take a lot of it to the sales, to the auctions in December, to take these cars, get these cars off the books. That will not happen this year, because of the dearth of quality pre-owned vehicles. We won't see as many dealers trying to relieve themselves of some of their used car inventory for accounting purposes and tax purposes.
Yep, absolutely. Got a question here from Zach in the chat. Zach, that's such a cute photo.
It is.
Dealer doesn't have markup, but wants $1,300 for tint, but exterior protection was, quote, free. Mentioned I would want no accessories on the RO if I wanted to order, and they said I couldn't do that.
Well, you can do that. You just might not be able to do that at that dealer. That's a choice that the dealer's making to force you to buy those items, but they don't have to install those items, and they could indeed not install those items upon your request. I was thinking earlier about some of the things that we need to do videos on, and one of the things that we need to do a video on in the future is how to negotiate additional dealer markup and the installation of dealer installed accessories on ordered or incoming vehicles, because it's absolute BS when a dealer says, well, it's got to be done. It doesn't have to be done. You're choosing to do it, and that should be the customer's choice on an incoming vehicle or an ordered vehicle, not the dealer's choice. It's just another shining example of how dealers just don't get the fact that, well, it's the customer that's paying for all this. It's the customer that's keeping your doors open. It's the customers that you shouldn't be forcing to pay for things they might not want. And I'm so glad you laughed.
And Zach, no, I think laughed at the dealer, not at you.
Yeah,
And
good.
and Zach, one of the
Yes.
resources you have back on the YEA community, again, Justice put this together. All of the dealerships that have been reviewed or mentioned by YAA community members are in this spreadsheet. So go ahead and take a peek there. You might be able to find a Toyota dealership near you that has gotten some good reviews, aka doesn't just tack on additional dealer markup and say, hey, you're kind of stuck with it.
My suggestion, and this is just a gut feeling, but my suggestion is that if you can find a smaller mom and pop run Toyota dealership, not one that's part of a big conglomerate, not one that's part of a big publicly traded group, but a community oriented small or smaller dealer, who realizes the value of his customers and quite possibly decides that he doesn't want to take advantage of them.
What should
Those are the type of dealers that would say to you, yeah, no, I understand. If you don't want the ceramic tint and the window tint, you don't have to have it on an incoming car. And there are dealers like that out there, whether it be Toyota dealers or any other dealers. It's the local dealers, not the big conglomerate dealers.
Now, Pops, you've given me two ideas for videos that we should film. One is how, like a role play of how to negotiate additional dealer markup. So I think we'll knock that out later today, and how to find a good car dealer, and then how to find the right salesperson at the dealership. If you can, in the chat, there's some folks with us here watching the show. Let us know. Are those good ideas for videos? Give us some feedback live here. We'd appreciate it. We'll incorporate that into what we do. Now, Pops.
Yes.
Igor just put in the chat, 2 to 3 year old Toyota Siennas are selling for new car prices at MSRP, and those used vans are with 30 to 40,000 miles on them. Here's the deal, Dad. Our friends over at IC Cars, they went ahead and they aggregated, coagulated.
Yeah, they aggregated.
They put together the list here of the 15 used cars that cost more than they do new. That being said, I think this list is already outdated. I think that they have some limited data that is influencing some of the results you see here. I think most cars used are selling more than new that are in that range of 1 to 2 years old, and less.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. These
40,000
are
miles.
pre-owned 2020s and 2021s. So
Yes.
I don't want people thinking, okay, this includes all vehicles of any age. No, this is pre-owned 2020 and 2021s.
And so the Tesla Model Y 2020, 2021 is up nearly 15% more than its new car price. The Toyota Tacoma up 12.2%.
Taco Tuesday, buddy. It must be Taco Tuesday, or is it Toyota Tuesday?
Toyota Tundra 11.7%. The Dodge Charger up 9.8%. This Honda Civic hatchback 9.8%. Tesla Model 3 9.2%. I mean, these are multi-$1,000 increases over the new car price on lightly used 2020s and
what they were when they were brand new. Yes.
Even the Toyota Corolla is on this list, Dad. Costs $1,100 more lightly used than it did new. That's insane.
And what was the overall average?
The overall average was a $577 decrease from lightly used to its original new price.
Yes. So in the old days, say 2019, you would have expected to actually save money by buying a 1 to 2 year old pre-owned car over the price of a new car. And today, in a lot of cases, at least the top 15, you're going to be asked to pay more than what the original MSRP was. And that's not the way the used car market is supposed to work. It only works that way when there's shortages. And
Absolutely.
obviously there are.
And Pops, I know I've been demoing it left and right, but we're going to do a little experiment here. Again, our YAA car search is not currently live, but we can test it out. So I actually kind of want to see here. Let's put the Tesla. Let's do the Model Y. So let's search really quick. Let's see how many Tesla Model Ys we have. Looks like we're broken. Let me do a refresh. Oh, we're broken. We're broken, folks. I was going to go for it, but we're broken.
Well, that's why, excuse me, that's why it hasn't been released to the public yet.
This is very true. That is exactly why. I was going to
Yeah.
see how much they're marked up in the listings that we have, but we'll have to check another time. All that
Okay.
to say, used car prices still through the roof. Those are perfect examples of it. And we've had plenty of folks call us and tell us and share stories with us of wholesalers going to dealerships, buying new cars at MSRP, going to the auction, putting them through the lane and selling them for more.
I didn't tell you this, but our dear friend Chip,
Yeah.
called me the other night when he was driving home, and yeah, he's still complaining because he's got to pay $2,000 to $3,000 over MSRP for 1 to 2 year old Camrys and Corollas. And he's gladly doing it because it's the only way he can get his hands on the cars. Now, what they've noticed at their dealerships is because they're basically paying retail at the wholesale end to get these cars, that they have decided as a dealership group that they won't necessarily try to make as large a single car profit when they sell each one of these. Their hope will be to make their money in the finance and insurance side of things, the back end of things. So they're noticing that their front end used car profit is going down slightly because of how much they have to overpay for the inventory.
Zach says, thanks, guys. Have been watching you for the past 4 to 6 months and have learned a lot. And me and my wife in that cute picture, and we'll wait till next year to buy. Yep, makes plenty of sense, Zach. We've got deep thoughts with Jessica Helen here. My car was not only marked up, but I allowed add-ons I normally would have insisted they remove. Why? Because that's the market. There was only one car I wanted within a 500-mile radius. Yep, that's the reality right about now.
And my guess is when you're looking for a specific vehicle with specific trim level and specific colors, that the dealer knows it's the only one. And there's leverage. I mean, the people I used to work for, we would hold on to cars forever because the owner was convinced that eventually ours would be the only one in the country, and somebody that wanted it would have to pay for it. And well, fortunately for him, he was correct most of the time.
Let's switch gears, Pops, and let's talk about what BMW's up to. They just announced the other day a new concept M series that they're thinking of bringing out. This is a really, really, really incredible vehicle. If it does launch, which they've said next year at their South Carolina plant, it will. This is the BMW XM. It's going to be their most powerful production car that they've ever had. It's going to have 750 horsepower and a hybrid powertrain. Really impressive vehicle. I know you were the one that put this on the show topics, Pops. What was your take when you saw this?
Well, BMW, much like Mercedes with AMG, BMW's M series is really been an iconic brand within the brand, an iconic sub brand.
Yep.
But realistically, I mean, all they've done is they've added the M to most models. This is a completely new vehicle. It will have an internal combustion engine along with an electric motor as well. The electric range of the motor is about 30 miles.
Yeah.
But let's face it, that portion of it is not so that it gets great mileage. That portion of it is to help the performance, the high speed performance of the vehicle. And the fact that you'd have something like that will produce 775 horsepower, and will be equipped the way an M vehicle is equipped. It will be cutting edge. It will be the vehicle of choice for a lot of people who want that type of vehicle, and they expect the biggest market for it to be in the United States.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. SUV demand is through the roof, and the fact that you can still get a car with V8s in it, people are excited about that. Add on the electric motor so that you have that
Well,
instant
you
torque.
can't do that in a Mercedes Benz this coming year.
Yeah, honestly, that'll probably be something that BMW holds on to.
Yeah, buy
To
more wattage. I like that. Yeah,
for the price they will have on this new BMW, it will have fierce competition. Yeah, I think you're
yeah.
probably right, Igor. My dad's spot on though. Mercedes-Benz has said no more V8s. They're going to stop producing V8 engines. So if you want a V8 engine, your options are getting more and more limited every single year. And so BMW retaining a V8 engine is actually, I think, pretty substantial news. Even Dodge, Dad, is getting out of the muscle car game, and they're getting rid of their V8 engines by 2024.
Well, they're getting out of the ICE muscle car game,
Yeah,
and they're going to get into the EV muscle
e-muscle.
car game.
Wait. So
Okay,
e-muscle. How
I like it.
muscular are you going to be in the metaverse, Dad?
The who?
The metaverse, like when we live in the metaverse instead of in real world,
Well,
like are you going to be buff?
let me help you with that. I choose not to live in Mark Zuckerberg's world.
Come on, man.
Okay, I'm
You're not gonna-
sorry. I choose not to live in his world. I don't. I choose to not participate in virtual reality when what the hell I can just live in reality. So I'm going to try that. That's my take. Mark Zuckerberg can take his metaverse, and all these other tech companies can take their virtual realities, and they can, as far as I'm concerned, well,
Rico in the
it's going to be dark where I would suggest they put them.
Hey guys, I just got done watching Deal School 2.0 and I must say excellent work. If you
Well,
haven't
thank
checked
you.
out Deal School 2.0, please do. It's back on the YA community. It's 100% free. You don't even have to create an account or anything. It's literally free. So just join yaa.com/deal school. Super proud of what we were able to
Uh,
produce here, and it's getting a lot of love so far. So
can
glad.
I ask you a question? If you go to join YAA and go to Deal School, do you have to give us any of your information?
Nope,
Well,
not at
then
all.
how are we selling their information? Oh, we're not. We don't sell customer information to anybody. Go figure.
Correct. Thanks for checking that out, Rico, and thanks for coming back and sharing the positive, feedback with us. We really appreciate it. Also, Pops, you got some fans. Justice is with you, Igor's with you, Jordan's with you. I'm just saying, in the metaverse, you could be super muscular.
There is only a metaverse if you choose to accept a metaverse. I've made my choice. Really? You gotta be kidding me.
Okay, so we are the proud owners of StopBuyingCars.com, which I really should do more with, but right now it's just a picture of my dad pointing and saying, "USA, stop buying cars." It's actually pretty hilarious. I'll pull it up on the screen really quick. But Dad, for today's really, you've got to be kidding me.
Yes.
StopBuyingCars.com. Can't make this stuff up. Like
No.
this is literally a website that exists, and then
Yes.
this takes you to our buying guide, in case you are actually going to buy a car. That being said, we have this data from Kelley Blue Book. Car shoppers know prices are high. Only 16% will delay purchase. There are two components of this really you've got to be kidding me for today. First one's right here. Cox Automotive has kept an ongoing COVID-19 consumer impact study going since March of 2020. October's results are out, and they show just 49% of respondents indicate they were extremely or very concerned about COVID-19. That's great. Then if you go down just a little bit further, where was it here? Oh, man. I had it a moment ago. 16%.
Well, it dropped from 48%.
There it is. That's what I
Yeah.
was looking for. Yet just 16% of those considering a new car plan to delay their purchase. That's a significant drop from the late August survey when 48% of new car shoppers said they would attempt to wait out higher prices. So we're seeing an increase in those that are just accepting this new normal. And Pops, we have some select quotes. This is the biggest, really. You've got to be kidding me, from automakers. This news could mean that Americans believe higher prices are here to stay. They may be right. In May, General Motors CEO Mary Barra told reporters that America's largest automaker would, quote, never go back to pre pandemic inventory levels. GM isn't the only one. In September, BMW's CFO, Chief Financial Officer, said the company would also keep inventory low to, quote, keep our pricing power at the current level. And then Mercedes-Benz's Chief Financial Officer similarly said, quote, we will consciously undersupply demand level. God, like what?
Well,
that sucks.
well, here's the worst part. The 16% who the fact that there's only 16% who's thank you, Ken. The fact that only 16% of people say that they would not purchase because of the pricing is so high indicates that that 84% of people will operate in their worst best interest. Okay, which is crazy to me. If you are willing to accept this pricing, then pretty much you're willing to accept anything. And the way to impact the pricing is to not buy. If enough people said, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, I'm not going to pay these prices anymore, and people stayed away from dealerships and didn't accept this pricing, then demand would fall, supply would build up, and dealers would get antsy and they would start discounting vehicles again. But as long as people work in their own worst interests like this, then the manufacturers are going to keep the supply short artificially. The dealers are going to overprice their cars intentionally, and consumers seem to be willing to choose to accept that. And that is the people just need to realize they have the power if they choose to utilize it and to use it. And right now they're not.
Igor says OEMs are putting their thinking caps on and realizing that they can get away with higher MSRP prices. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah, we should do a whole video on this, Pops, just talking about how declined current inventory levels are, and then some of these quotes from different leaders within these organizations. It's pretty nuts to realize that we're moving. Buying a car has always been a little bit anti-consumer because so much of it was obfuscated from the consumer, like you didn't understand the process and anything.
Mhm.
And hopefully we've been able to help over the past couple of years with that. But then there's like things that the OEM can do that make it even more anti-consumer. And I think honestly, and I shouldn't say anti-consumer, just more profitable for them. At whose expense? The consumers. And
Yes.
so long as this is going to be an accepted practice, it's going to improve the bottom lines of automakers, but it's probably going to make buying a car more expensive for everyone else.
Yes, and it only becomes an accepted practice when it becomes acceptable to the majority of people. And somehow buy a moped. I like that. Mopeds mean mo fun. In reality, we need to help convince people that they need to stay away from buying cars. They need to exercise that power of not doing something as opposed to doing something.
Yeah, and we just had who was that from? Let me pull it back up. It's from Marwan here saying it is the classic prisoner's dilemma. So I've got this pulled up here. Prisoner's dilemma. The prisoner's dilemma is a standard example of a game analyzed in game theory that shows why two completely rational individuals might not cooperate, even if it appears it is in their best interest to do so. It was originally framed by formalized. If two members of a criminal organization are arrested and imprisoned, each prisoner is in solitary confinement with no means of communicating with the other. The prosecutors lack sufficient evidence to convict the pair of the principal charge, but they have enough to convict both of a lesser charge. Simultaneously, the prosecutors offer each prisoner a bargain. Each prisoner is given the opportunity either to betray the other by testifying that the other committed the crime or to cooperate with the other by remaining silent. You have these four outcomes that you could possibly have, and we're in that type of situation when it comes to buying a car. You can either not buy a car, but then someone else, the other prisoner, might buy the car, and then it keeps the price. It's the classic game theory right here.
Yes, it is. But somehow we need to, on our platform, start a movement where we can convince enough people that it really is in their best interest. Okay, this is not good for them. This is in their work. They are
We should
giving into their
consider
worst interests.
we should consider some sort of like PSA video to help educate people and make it really short and like to the point. Anyway, we can talk about that a bit offline. I do want to pull up one comment that came in here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? This is from Deep Thoughts with Jessica Helen. I play a lot of virtual reality and admin a fairly large women's gaming group. That's awesome. The metaverse is pretty awesome, and it will encompass a heck of a lot more than just Facebook in the long term. Don't knock it till you try it. I am with Deep Thoughts with Jessica Helen. I think that there are a lot of applications like that. There's a Van Gogh, an immersive Van Gogh exhibit here in Washington, D.C., where you like put on the goggles and you're in the paintings or whatever. I'm just saying there's probably some cool stuff you can do.
I'm sure there are, but I'm sorry. I'm just sticking with real life. Real life is effed up enough, that you don't really need to get into this virtual reality. When reality is tough enough.
Let me ask you a quick question, and then we'll wrap today's show. Would you be a car salesman in VR?
Well, I'd be the best car salesman ever. No, I would choose something else. I would choose not to be in VR.
All right.
It's a choice. Everything is a choice.
Like buying a car or not.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for getting that.
All right, Bob, thanks for your time as always. Thank you guys all for being here with us today. Deal School 2.0, again, join yaa.com/Deal School. Leave us reviews if you're listening to this after the fact on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate it. Pops, let's film some videos later today. I think we got some good topics.
I'm in. I think I have some time booked between 5 and 6.
Sounds good, Dad. I love you.
I love you too. I'll talk to you later, handsome.
Catch you then.